Welcome into Vandy on SI. I'm Joey Dwyer. He's Graham Bacco here outside of the splash zone, outside of Vanderbilt's facility. Nobody going to be walking in the background today.
No.
Hopefully, I think this might be our best view of camp so far.
I think so.
We might have to get on the turf field at McGugin Center one day. Tomorrow, the possibilities are endless. We'll be at First Bank Stadium for Vanderbilt's first scrimmage of camp. Subscribe to view all of our stuff throughout all of camp. We've had everything for the first 7 days. We're at day 8 here, and tomorrow, you don't want to miss tomorrow. The first scrimmage will have
Big
all types of takeaways. Last year we had to do it on Zoom. Tomorrow we'll both be in the building. We'll hear from Clark Lee tomorrow. Today, a little bit less of a noteworthy day. They did actually do more than I thought for a short practice in the indoor. I think we have more takeaways than maybe we thought we'd have. Vanderbilt's offensive line spoke. We were not in there. We both had some feature interviews to do. We're really fired up about what we're going to have on the site. Probably some point next week, that off day. Watch for the off day next week. We'll have some stuff. Maybe we'll have some stuff not on the off day as well. We both love what we did, and we'll, I guess, spotlight some guys and some stories that maybe some people don't know on Vanderbilt's roster. Some really moving stuff, I think, in both of our interviews. But we don't want to spoil that too much in practice today. We'll start here. Blaise Berlowitz and Jared Curtis we saw a lot of today. I thought Blaise was pretty good. I thought he was better than Curtis for 90% of the practice. Maybe the last 10% of the practice, Curtis was better. But Berlowitz, I thought, was dealing early. I thought really made some nice intermediate throws. I thought knew when to take the check down. I think a lot of growth has been shown by Berlowitz in the last 2 or 3 days, because you look at it in previous camps and even spring ball, it's like 1 or 2 days of this version of Berlowitz and then a blow-up day. Right. And I feel like we've only maybe had one blow-up day all of camp for Berlowitz, and then maybe some other days that approached it, but nothing that got to that level, Graham. I think Berlowitz has really developed. On the other hand, gosh, there was a throw that Jared Curtis made, actually right in front of Mark Byington. Byington, Tyler Tanner, Burke Buchtengel, Chase Byington, Baylor Allen, and Gabe Neesmith were here, and Jared Curtis made the throw of the day to Ja'Cory Thomas right in front of Mark Byington. I don't know how much we can describe it, but man, that's it's one of those. It wasn't quite SportsCenter top 10, but it would have been shown up. It would show up on NFL draft tape, like on the highlight reel that plays when he gets drafted. Like, it's one of those type of throws. I think his legs really moved me today. And I don't know how much you can tell based off of a period where he's not getting hit, but gosh, I think he's pretty elusive. And he's got that lacrosse style running ability where maybe he's not like a Caleb Barnett speed type of guy, but man, he can get downhill. You don't want to see him in the open field, and I actually do think he has some illusion to him. Interesting day for the quarterback battle. We'll find out a lot more tomorrow, but I actually was encouraged by both at times today.
I thought overall I would say Blaise Berlowitz won the day out of those two, because again, like, he's seeming to string together, stack together a couple of days here now, which I think is what people would want to see after he had that one really bad practice, which we'll see how camp continues to go, but does that become more so of an outlier, or does that become less of an outlier?
Still a lot of practice left.
Right, exactly. There's a lot of practice left, so I think that's going to be the thing for me to watch, is whether that practice becomes more so of an outlier or not. But again, I mean, you talk about the throw that Jared Curtis had. Oh my gosh! I mean, it was something. It was something to see, and I think you just really saw the positive and some points for both Blaise and Jared Curtis as well. And again, like you talked about his elusiveness, Jared Curtis's elusiveness running the ball. That's really what struck me the most, is he had a real burst. When he took off. Again, it wasn't like hitting, wasn't like live, a real game style. But I do think like the spaces that he was running through, like, it actually would have been pretty similar, had it been a real game to me. So I think that's really what stood out, is I hadn't really seen that kind of burst through the first 7 days. Today he did show a burst, and it, to me, is sort of like the more lateral movements that really got him down the field. As he would put a move, sort of move to the left or to the right, and then go downhill from there. So that's really what stuck out to me. There defensively though, I think there were a few good takeaways. I thought it was a really good day for Ricardo Jones, a really good day for Dante Carter. They made some of the biggest plays defensively of the practice. And again, like that's kind of what you expect from those types of guys.
Yeah, good for Dante Carter. He needed a good day.
He did.
And I don't even know if it was much of it was a good day. He needed a splash play.
Yeah. And he got a splash play. And Ricardo Jones had multiple splash plays, I thought. So, and again, like those are the guys that you really need to honestly have those types of plays, because those are the guys that they're going to rely pretty heavily on come this season. So I thought it was a really good day for them. I thought Kane Daniels again showed up.
Yeah, he can lock up and he doesn't need safety help all the time to do it.
Yeah,
that's a positive.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought those three were really good. I think I saw Jalen Ruth get in on a play once or twice. So again, the secondary pieces is showing up and really making some of the biggest plays of the practice.
Yeah, I am curious, what does the pass rush look like tomorrow? Because I didn't think they wrecked the practice today when they had the opportunities to, and obviously there weren't ones on the field at all times. So you're wondering how much of this is there's a walk-on or a depth guy who's complimenting one of the starters, and maybe that doesn't allow the starter to get in there like maybe he would like to. But maybe that's the thing I'm watching most besides the quarterbacks is how much pass rush can they get. And we'll see where their offensive line is at. Chris Klonakis actually, when we were in there, seemed pretty optimistic about where they're at. Like he seemed to think that the pre-snap penalties weren't a big issue. He seemed to think that they got a lot of their cohesiveness started in the spring, whereas in past years it looked like a major work in progress. This time of year, I don't know if their ceiling's as high as maybe it has been in some other camps. Maybe it could be, actually. They do have some athletes, but I think they are farther along on the offensive line than they've been, and I do wonder, what does that look like tomorrow? Does Miles Capers get in there a few times and make you think, all right, well, they're going to have a really hard time having Jared Curtis sit back there?
Right.
Or is it going to look kind of like it did today, where Curtis has a little bit of time to run around and try to create something? Yeah,
to me, that's kind of like the biggest thing to watch for the scrimmage tomorrow is how do the trenches play out? Both the offensive and defensive line. How much pressure does the defensive line create, and how much just hold up to the offensive line, and how much push against the defensive line does the O-line get? So to me, that's probably the number one thing that I'm gonna be looking for tomorrow is a battle in the trenches. And I think it was interesting when Coach Klonakis was talking, and he was saying, like, from this point, day 8, 2026 seems to be further along than where it was day 8, 2025. So seems like the schedule and the track that's this offensive line is on is ahead of where it was, this day last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Graham, I got something to run by you here. On the site this afternoon will be a freaks list. Kind of for context, The Athletic did this with all of college football, and Colby Taylor made the list last year. A freak, by definition, is someone massive who stands out as soon as you look at the practice field. Somebody who is blazing fast, who's faster than anybody else, and someone who maybe is stronger than everyone else, and you can tell that. Here's my list. Want to see what you've got, or what you think. Walt Taylor, no-brainer, I think. Whether he's playing quarterback or tight end, he's the biggest guy in the room. Clinton Azupike, no-brainer, right? Issa Wataha, no-brainer. Those are kind of the three that I'm like, all right, that's
right for sure.
That's put away. I had LeBron Hill, who I think that was kind of a hot take to some people, but I mean, you look at him, I think he's maybe the most physically imposing guy they have, although he does need to add some weight, and he hasn't been all that impressive in practice. Who else? I had
Caleb Barnett.
Caleb Barnett. Oh, he's a no-brainer too. And almost funny that he's not a physical freak, but he's just
speed demon.
Mitchell Smith, the freshman offensive lineman, I actually put on the list as well. Man, he's physically imposing. I don't know if he's ready to play yet, but he looks like he's ready to play. Right. That's the thing. I don't know if I had anybody else. I'm trying to think.
Was Brian Longwell on the list?
I considered him.
I think that he was consideration.
Yeah, I considered Ja'Cory Thomas, Brian Longwell, Jared Curtis. Curtis for the arm strength, Thomas for the frame, Longwell for the speed at his size. But I think that might have been all I had. You got anybody else? Or anybody on my list you dispute?
No, not really. I think that's a good list. I think I had texted you last night about Clint Azubike. I mean,
Yeah,
to me,
no-brainer.
he's a no-brainer. 6'8". I think he actually told me he was 6'9". So yeah, he's a really big dude, and I wouldn't really want to be a defensive lineman trying to be matched up against him.
No, and Konaka said he's got to improve in the run game still,
Right.
but he said he is.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the thing is, can he stop from getting pushed back in pass pro? Maybe he will, but I think he actually has a chance to keep his feet in front of guys.
Yeah.
And do those types of things. So we'll see. But yeah, that's my freaks list. There's my explanation for if you see it on the site this afternoon. Graham, we're excited about what we got coming the next couple days, particularly the stories from our 2 post-practice interviews. That feature story, that the interview that I did today, I've been wanting to do for months now, so glad we could get it done. But again, thank you guys for watching. Oh, one more. We got to give Bryson Coleman a shout out. Best player practice all day.
Oh yeah.
Whip Muschamp to Bryson Coleman.
Yep.
Buckets. Like that's man, good. What a heck of a catch by
great throw.
Coleman.
Great catch.
Great throw by Muschamp. You got to give Bryson Coleman his flowers.
For sure.
We've said when he hasn't done a whole lot. Man, that was a flash play.
Yeah, I thought today he got more separation than he has most days of camp so far.
Yeah, and also I liked, maybe they didn't do as much today. We could see so much more today than we could previously.
Yeah.
Like there was one interception, and if we had been on the other field, we wouldn't have known the situation.
Yeah.
But I saw the context behind the interception, and I'm like, all right, that's not a huge deal. And I think that's what we gleaned from today that maybe we hadn't previously. But for now, I'm Joey Dwyer. He's Graham Bacco. We will see you tomorrow from First Bank Stadium.
We will.
Vanderbilt's first fall camp scrimmage. Clarkley said he aims to have a quarterback after tomorrow. Color me doubtful, but
we'll see about that.
We'll see. But for all our coverage of tomorrow, subscribe to the channel. Check out the site Vandy on SI. We'll be back at you tomorrow. God bless. Peace.